So if you're a trader, you have heard this a million times, right? You're just one little mindset shift, one quick fix, one secret away from hitting it big. And, it's a really tempting idea. But honestly, it's a trap. Today, we're going to tear that whole myth apart and show you why that endless search for a magic pill is probably the very thing that's holding you back.
This quote right here, it just gets straight to the point. The idea that there's some secret password you're missing is, well, it's a fantasy. The real journey to building trading discipline that actually lasts it's a lot more complicated. And let's be real, it can be unbelievably frustrating sometimes.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start by smashing that magic pill myth. Then, we'll dive deep into what I call the whack-a-mole problem of trading. We'll name those common demons every single trader faces, and then show you how simple mechanical rules are your absolute best weapon against them. We'll wrap it all up by shifting into a scientist mindset and talking about where the real work truly begins.
Okay, so let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. Discipline isn't some destination you just arrive at. It's not a box you tick and then you're done. No, it's an ongoing process. It's a system you have to build and then you have to maintain it every single day. The belief that you can just fix it overnight, that's the first illusion we have got to shatter.
And this brings us right to the main idea for today. If you've ever felt like you fix one leak in your trading, and then bam, another one just springs up out of nowhere, you are not alone. This is what we call the whack-a-mole problem.
And here's the key insight, the thing you really need to get. When you solve one really obvious problem, you don't magically become a perfect trader. What actually happens is your progress uncovers a new, more subtle weakness that was hiding just under the surface the whole time. It's this continuous cycle, and just recognizing that it exists is the very first step to breaking out of it.
I mean, does this look familiar at all? You finally get your overtrading under control, which, by the way, is a huge win. But then you notice you're bailing on good trades way too early because you're scared. So you work on that, and suddenly you're hesitating, just watching these perfect setups fly by without you. It's this constant, maddening progression.
But how we frame this in our minds is so important. This cycle, it feels like you're failing over and over again. But you're not. I promise you, it's a sign of progress. You're actually leveling up as a trader. And each new level just presents a new kind of boss you have to figure out how to beat. This is just what the journey looks like.
So, what are these bosses that keep popping up? Let's give them a name. Let's call them our common trading demons. You see, the first step to conquering them is to know their name, to identify them, and to understand exactly what they look like when you're in the heat of the moment.
Here they are, the usual suspects. Overtrading for that quick dopamine rush, revenge trading to try and get back at the market, freezing up after a losing streak, cutting your winners short because of fear, jumping into a trade way too early because you have FOMO, or, my favorite, completely abandoning your strategy after just a couple of losses. I bet you see yourself in at least one of these, right? And don't worry, most of us do.
Okay, so if these demons are all fueled by raw emotion and impulse, then our weapons against them have to be pure logic and structure. This is the point where we stop trying to rely on willpower, because that's going to fail you, and we start building a system of mechanical rules to protect us from ourselves. And this table here really shows the solution in action. For every single emotional impulse, there is a mechanical fix. You feel that urge to overtrade? Your rule is a hard limit, 2 trades per day, period. Maybe you even use lockout software to enforce it. Feeling angry after a loss and you want revenge? Your rule is a mandatory 15-minute walk away from your desk, no exceptions. For every feeling, you create a pre-planned, non-negotiable action.
Now, this whole approach, it builds into something bigger. It's a whole framework. Fighting these battles one by one requires a fundamental shift in how you see yourself. You have to stop thinking like a gambler chasing a jackpot and start acting like a scientist who's just running an experiment.
I want you to just focus on this number for a second. 20. It's not about money, it's not about pips or points. It represents a challenge, a very specific test.
And ask yourself this question, and be really, really honest. Not 20 winning trades, 20 perfectly executed trades. Could you follow your rules? Your entry, your stop, your profit target, 20 times in a row, whether you end up making money or losing money? I'm telling you, it is so much harder than it sounds.
This is a concept that was made famous by the trading psychologist Mark Douglas. And the goal here is not to be profitable over these 20 trades. The goal is simply to prove to yourself that you can follow your own system.
It's about collecting clean data on your strategy, data that isn't all messed up by your emotional interference.
This is what it means to be a scientist in the market. You commit to one variable at a time, your system. You focus only on the process of perfect execution. Your job isn't to make money, your job is to gather information. The profit and loss, that just becomes another data point. It's not a judgment on you or your self-worth.
So as we start to bring all this together, the final and honestly the most critical piece of this entire puzzle is taking what they call radical responsibility. You have to draw a very clear line between the feelings you can't control and the actions you absolutely can.
Look, the urge to revenge trade, that hot rush of adrenaline and anger, that's biological. It's a real response. But listen, it only explains the feeling. It does not excuse the click. You are the one who chooses to take that next trade. You are the one who decides to drag your stop loss. That action, that click, is 100% your responsibility.
So here's the bottom line. Positive thinking is great, but it's not going to save you when your account is bleeding out. You know what will save you? The systems you build before you're in that situation. Rules you cannot break. A structure that protects you from your worst impulses. That is the foundation of real, lasting discipline.
And make no mistake about it, as soon as you conquer whatever demon you're fighting right now, the next level is going to load and a new one is going to appear. That's not a threat, it's a promise. So the real question is, what mechanical rule, what structure, what system are you going to design right now to be ready for it?